Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Oh, Tabby, I've just muted you for a minute because your feedback in there. Is it safe?
How am I now?
Oh, you're all right now. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Sorry. I'm trying to mute out like 3 different places.
Crikey, you got me all confused there for a minute. I was like, what's going on with the sound? It's all right. It's okay. It is the TNG Review Show. We're back with another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, consigning it to our vault. With myself, Monteman, my co-hosts, Mazza McBob, and Tabbykins Turner. Good evening, everyone.
Woohoo!
Good evening.
Evening.
Now you notice we are missing someone this evening. There is no Chief Sean, unfortunately. Sean is sad times. Yeah, Sean is busy this evening, so Mazza Bob's pulling double shift as Quizmaster Extraordinaire and Goof Queen. So yes, it's all up to
all together. We will comprise Chief Bingo.
Yeah.
I wondered if we weren't doing bingo or whether it would just apply to everybody rather than. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So the bingo references apply to everyone this evening. If you haven't got your bingo card and you want to join in with this evening's reference bingo, the link is in the top of the live chat here. So find your way to the top of the live chat. You'll find the link, get yourself a card, and you can join in with the bingo fun with us. Obviously, if you're watching this back on playback, you can still do it, but you'll have to keep your own score and let us know in the comments. But yes, so yeah, here we are. Good luck to Tavikins for keeping all the references in check from everyone and not just Chief Sean. And yeah. First of all, let's go around the room and see how everybody's week has been, starting with Maz and Bob. How you doing, Maz?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm having a good week. Work has been fairly easy, so yeah, nice, relaxing week.
Nice. Very nice. And Tavi?
I'm doing really good. Having a generally nice week. It's been easy going. Kids have been
We're both
kind to
having an
me.
easy week. Oh,
Yeah.
Do you think it's that sort of like calm before the storm that we've got Halloween out of the way, we've
lead
got
up to Christmas.
fireworks night out of the way.
Oh yeah.
We're now on the lead up. Yeah, it's like
Maybe.
it's that end of November.
We get a breather.
Yeah, before we start going into our loft and putting all the Christmas decorations out and starting preparing all that shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got quite a few of my presents already, but I don't normally get them this early, and now I've got the
Shut the
dubious.
front door. I haven't
Yeah,
even,
I've got the
my
dubious
God.
situation where I'm thinking about wrapping them, but I have no tree to put them under because I never normally get them this early. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
Putting me to shame.
Horse before cart or something. Cart before horse.
Yeah, crikey.
Yeah. You
Wow.
have to put some extra skill into hiding them, when it's that early. Well, if it's not a whole bunch of kids running around, you're not in so much danger, but
That's true.
No, I only have one giant kid.
That is also
Namely
true.
my other half.
And he's kind of a force to be reckoned with. He's like kind of having like 4 kids,
Yeah.
all
that's
bundled
true.
into one
full of
package.
energy and fun.
I hope everyone's well in live chat. We see we got Stu Plum and Ruth here this evening. Good evening to you two. I hope you're ready to. We've got a new quizmaster this evening, so we don't know how difficult she's going to make the questions. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Easy.
It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like
Nothing too taxing. It'll probably be decided on whoever gets the most bonus questions because I think everybody's going to get everything right, but never mind.
that. See, we shall see. We shall see. Good evening, Wookie. And Wookie's here. Good evening to you, sir. We haven't got Sean doing his customary Wiki hello, so I'll just go. I'll try it. I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, no, that was failed miserably there.
Oh, my face is gonna hurt from
Chewy,
smiling.
can you do it? No good. Ruth. Oh, we haven't got one for Ruth, but we're still working on that. It's still a
we
work in
do.
progress. Do you? Do we have a Ruth?
No.
Baby Ruth.
Baby
Ah.
Ruth.
See, I'm
Like the
sure we
candy
thought of something
bar.
the other day, but I've already forgotten about it.
Yeah. No.
The roof is on fire.
That Ruth is on fire. Okay.
We're dorky.
We're okay.
Nerds.
Yes. So, suspicions. That's what we're consigning to the vault this evening. Suspicions. It is episode. Oh, I took it out. What episode is it? I think it's about episode 24, something like that. Something like that. I didn't write it down. It just says episode of season 6. I don't know. Anyway, production number 40276-248. It first aired on the 10th of May, 1993 in the US. Good evening, Mr. Beard. Good evening, sir. And it was the 147th episode to be both produced and released. It was written by Joe Minosky and Naran Shankar. Both of those guys we've talked about a number of times before. It was Joe's 13 of 16 episodes and Naran's 4th of 9. 4 of 9. Not 7 of 9. 4 of 9.
4 of 9.
Yeah. And he's the chap we talked about before who was like, he's got many credits as a science consultant and story editor and things like that. But yeah, wrote 9 episodes. Directed by Cliff Bowl of Bolian fame again. Talked about him so many times. It's 22nd of 24 episodes that he directed. So we're near the end of the Cliff Bowl run. Only a couple of his episodes left to go. Have you got anything else, Maz and McBob, from that?
Sort of. I don't know if you read anything about how it had a slightly... I mean, there seems to be a bit of a running theme towards the end of this series, but there was a little bit of a rocky start with what the story was going to be and stuff. So it went through loads of different versions. Originally, it was going to be Worf doing this investigation into a murder, and they decided, I think Rick... Oh, no, not Rick Berman. I think it was Jerry Taylor was saying that they wanted a vehicle for Beverly. They thought that maybe Worf had done a few too many sort of storylines, so they thought about putting Bev into it instead. And they also originally had some film noir elements, with like music and the voiceover and some like black and white kind of esque, to make it a bit more like a oldie worldy mystery, which I was thinking about. And they did that sort of thing with that episode with Tom Paris where he gets accused of murder, where they had the sort of the flashbacks and the but yeah, they were going to do that. They dropped that. They also found out quite late on that it was going to be the last time Whoopi Goldberg would be available. So then they wrote her into it pretty much last minute with more rewrites. So Ronald D. Moore said it was a never-ending, never-waking nightmare. Sorry, that was just generally. Keep the murder mystery, lose the Warp thing, move Worf out, keep the flashbacks, lose the film noir, insert Beverly, insert Guinan. It was just
Wow.
They called it a troubled script and a bit of a misery to produce. So, in fact, Naren Shankar called it a cluster F.
That bad.
Wow.
So there was a lot of changes and a lot of turbulence apparently. So when all of that considered, I don't think they do too bad a job. But
No.
it was challenging.
Yeah, you said a minute ago.
And I have some wine.
Oh yes, I have a white blood wine. It's not in his plasma. Blood plasma Chardonnay. Yeah.
I've got Lady Earl Grey hot.
Lady Earl Grey. What lovely. Let us know in live chat world if you've got some blood wine out there this evening. Let us know what it is in the live chat. We love to know these things. A minute ago, you said Jerry Taylor, but you got the name wrong. You said Jerry Naylor. I was wondering if that was a relation of Doug Naylor.
Well, I was going to say I didn't say it for that reason, but he was the writer of Red Dwarf.
Yeah. I would say you didn't even it was a bit of a very, very, very subtle Red Dwarf reference.
Yeah, it was an accidental,
highly subtle Red Dwarf reference. Yeah, very good. Stuplum's got homebrew IPA. Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
He's making some homebrew for my other half.
Some cider.
Who became a little bit obsessed with mango cider.
Yeah, mango cider.
There's like 40 pints of mango cider on the brew for Christmas.
Yeah.
Nice.
At what point does the mango flavor get added in? At the end or before?
I would imagine towards the end, but I don't actually know for sure.
I think so.
Maybe Stu Plum can tell us.
Yeah. When does the mango get added? I like the way his first attempt at saying it came up homebred IPA. It's like that sounds like a completely different kind of thing. Yeah, homebred.
Oh, it's mango and peach cider he's making actually. Sounds yummy.
Ooh, nice.
Right, here's a picture. Here's your first picture of the day. The lovely Beverly. So Dr. Beverly Crusher enters her quarters with a pad in her hand, and she looks like she's had a hard day at work. And she looks pretty pissed off and annoyed, to be honest. When she finally sits on her bed, the door chimes again. And so she answers the door, and it's Guinan. Oh, no, that's the wrong place. Got to be careful with this. Keep getting my pictures in the wrong place. Right. There you go. It's Guinan, who enters complaining about having tennis elbow after Geordie beat her at tennis in straight sets. Beverly recommends she go to sickbay and see Dr. Salar. Guinan, though, is particular. She's like, you're my doctor. I'm particular about the doctors I go and see. So Beverly tells her that, well, she'll have to go find another one because she isn't a doctor on this ship anymore. And that is the end of our teaser.
Dun.
Question time.
Right. Well, I'm gonna
Here we go. Let's see how well this works.
paste that one in, and then let's do the bonus.
Cute.
Copy.
Well done.
Paste. Oh, no, don't remove comment. What's it doing? Oh,
So
pasty paste.
who did Guinan say she was playing tennis with? Geordie, Picard, Riker, or Deanna? Who did Guinan say she was playing tennis with? Geordie, Picard, Riker, or Deanna? And the bonus question, would Captain Birdseye make a good Starfleet?
You just popped that in there. Hush up, Wookie. He's already cheeky.
Well done, Wookie, for sneaking that one in there. I completely shred that as though it was the bonus question.
You caught him out, Wookie. Well done. No, the real bonus is what colour was the orchid flower in Bev's room?
Oh,
So an observational question there.
wow,
Visual observation.
that's brilliant. Okay, so I'm gonna.
So, as for tribs and things, not a great deal. I think we just mentioned that at the beginning, in fact, that this is the final appearance of Guinan in terms of the series episodes, though she does remain on the Enterprise D, plays an integral role in Generations, and has a brief appearance in Nemesis, and then returns for the first and last episodes of season 2 of Star Trek Picard.
Yeah. Where's
So
she?
we've got an answer from Tavi, Ruth, Monty, and Stupulum. That's all the 4 players this week, I presume. And everybody is right. It was Geordie, and it was a pink flower. It's a very pretty little orchid, I thought.
So say, Tavi, I'm feeling quite rested this week.
Yeah?
Last night I slept like a log. I woke up in the fireplace. No.
Dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
gee.
Is he just trying to think of how much finger?
I just so you know, that one was so painful that Gudjon is in the back chuckling.
Just groaned.
The beard is in the background enjoying how badly that bombed.
No matter how terrible they are, somebody somewhere always finds it funny.
What do you call a seagull that flies over a bay? A bagel.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez. No.
Dear,
Okay.
dear me.
Okay.
No, I'm missing Sean. I'm missing Sean already.
Oh, dear.
Right.
So, all 4 people plus Wookie.
Mm-hmm.
So take me off. I don't get to play this week.
Oh.
There you go. The rest is correct. I don't know if you want to double them.
Should we double them for fun?
Yeah,
Yes.
or triple them or quadruple them as many times as you want them.
Let's triple them. Right.
Hey,
Ready?
Gotta
triple
put-
trouble.
Let's spin the wheel. Do 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 do. Oh, oh, oh. I like tripling. That works.
Oh! Did you?
Love it.
Well done.
Ruth thought Sean's jokes were bad. She's never going to mock him again. It's like,
No.
no. Yeah. Did you hear about the guy that had his left side cut off? He's all right now. No? Sorry. I'll stop.
You have to keep going. This is so terrible. It's fabulously painless.
I'll stop. Okay.
You know. Oh, Sean!
Come back, Sean.
Wait. He's got a joke.
Did I tell you about... Oh, do you want to read it out, Tabby?
Did I tell you about a job I got polishing mirrors? It's a job I can really see myself doing.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Sean, you have all my love. You popped in just to drop that joke in there. I love it. It's made my night.
Amazing.
Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies fly like a banana. No.
Oh, dear.
No.
Where are you getting? You just got like a load of dad jokes up on your screen or something. You're hearing me.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I'll stop it.
Come on.
I'm stopping it. Put it away. Okay. Sean's he's on his way. Act 1. Picture. Go to the right place. Picture. Oh, we've got this as well. A fire guard. We had a whole act without any data, so I've got this set up.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Soak it in, ladies.
Oh,
Breathe
Mr.
it.
T's at it as well now.
Breathe it.
My wife told me to do lunges to stay in shape. That would be a big step forward. Sean says, do you remember that old joke about the boomerang? Don't worry, it'll come back to you.
Dudum-tsh.
But then Wookie says, do you know the one about the fluffer, Monty? So he's probably going to be rude now.
No,
He's going
Wookie.
to be rude now.
I don't know the one about the fluffer.
Oh my God! All the dads are whipping it out in chat.
The flower.
Did you hear about the fairy called Nuff?
Oh,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. You know the one about a flower.
Did you hear
I
about
guess.
the fairy? Did you hear about the fairy called
Yeah.
Nuff?
Speech to text. Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
Right, that's enough data.
Fair enough. It's enough jokes, everyone.
That's enough jokes. Okay. Act 1. So now in civilian clothes, do you think Guinan just stayed there when she got dressed? I mean, there's no door.
Looks like it.
There's no doors in this course, so she just waited while she just got dressed. Anyway, in civilian clothes, Beverly expresses her frustration at now having to spend the next couple of weeks shuttling back to Starfleet Medical, where she's going to face Admiral Brooks and the end of her career. Guinan's like, it's a shame. Now, what about my tennis elbow that I came here for? She's not really... yeah. So Beverly takes a look. She gives it a prod, makes Guinan flinch, and agrees that it's tennis elbow, and she treats it with a wave of her magic wand thing. Guinan wonders how you end up in a formal inquiry. Beverly tells her, well, all you have to do is disobey orders, violate medical ethics, and cause an interstellar incident. Guinan's like, yeah, that'll do it. And then she threatens to punch her in the face unless she tells her exactly what happened.
Oh my, violence.
Yeah, she's like, am I going to punch you in the face? How are you going to tell me? So Beverly tells her the story of how it all started, when she just got curious. You see, she went to the Altine conference and learned all about metaphasic shielding techniques developed by a Ferengi scientist named Dr. Rhaegar. His unorthodox methods led to other scientists to jeer him off stage, so she invited a collection of scientists to meet on the Enterprise to review Dr. Rhaegar's work. Now, of all the scientists that she invited... Smiler Rainbow's calling, that's not good, is it? Of all the scientists that she had invited, only 4 accepted. A Klingon, Kurak, who is a tad defensive, a Vulcan named Japan, who always looks like she's sucking a lemon. Her husband, human husband, Christopher. There's a Takaran, who's Brill. Joe Brill. And Dr. Rhaegar himself, the Ferengi scientist.
You would imagine that getting an invitation to even be on the starship, the flagship of the Enterprise, would have been enough to have people coming, just cause.
Yeah.
But, oh.
I'm just going to message Smiler just to...
Is everything okay?
Just to make sure, because, she's phoning me in the middle of the...
Do you want me to call her while you carry on?
No, it's all right. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Well, Mr. Tabikins, what do you call a factory that makes okay products? A satisfactory.
I think that's probably the best one so far.
And Sean, let me tell you about the story, just about how I ended up as the principal. Oh my goodness. Look at the size of that thing.
Okay. Yes. So
do you think photocopiers would have gotten smaller in the future?
You would have thought so.
It does look like a giant printer or something.
It does. It does. Okay. So there's your scientists in that shot. And then... So, yes, we're back in the science lab, and we see how Rhaegar and Crusher try to convince the others about the possibilities of the metaphasic shielding. All the scientists are skeptical, though in a rare example of Ferengi altruism, he offers exclusive rights to whoever can help him with resources. It's very unusual, isn't it? I mean, it's unusual to have a Ferengi scientist for a start, but I can almost understand that if you're developing scientific endeavors that you're going to sell for a massive profit. But he's quite, he just wants the fame and to be recognized as a valid scientist rather than seek any profit. So not only is he shunned by the scientific community, but he's probably shunned by Ferengi society as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
carry on.
Sorry.
Davy?
I was going to say he's the first example of a sympathetic Ferengi, as some people might call it, one who's not motivated entirely by profit. And in fact, that's later explored in Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Rom and Nog, who Tabby was just telling us before the show. Rom has become one of her favorite characters. And to a lesser extent, Quark. I mean, he still is motivated by profit, but he has a little bit more depth than that anyway. But yeah, he is a good example of it. But in fact, when they first shot the scenes, Cliff Bowl said that he wanted the actor to be a little less oily than normal Ferengi, a little more compassionate, but he went a bit too far and made him a little bit too un-Ferengi like. And Rick Berman asked him to reshoot a couple of scenes just to reestablish a little bit of the more sort of Ferengi nature. So he still seemed quite un-Ferengi-like to me, but yeah, apparently there were some reshoots done.
Yeah. I think he is still quite Ferengi-ish in his mannerisms type, but just not in his actions.
Like when they're walking down the corridor, the way he sort of moves and, he sort of still has those Ferengi mannerisms.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Kurek is especially not convinced, the Klingon, and she doesn't think it can work. Rhaegar fires back that he successfully performed preliminary tests himself, but Kurek points out that he wouldn't be the first scientist to falsify test data. Whilst we got her,
I thought it was amazing. Sorry, I thought it was amazing that she was just throwing out shade like that, knowing damn well them's fighting words.
Yes, right, yeah. She's laying groundwork, isn't she? Because you see her later on to wanting to take the research herself, so, But while we got her up on screen here, do we recognise her from anywhere? The actress?
Is she?
Trisha O'Neill.
Yeah.
She was the captain from the Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise.
Yeah.
Captain Garrett.
What we have is a bona fide Enterprise captain right here.
Mm. Yep. Yes, we do indeed. She was also Corrinus in Deep Space Nine episode Defiant, who was a Cardassian scientist.
Yeah. This is very difficult to differentiate your fun facts from stuff I should put in the chief.
Oh, you can stick it all in. Stick it all in.
Should I stick it all in there?
Stick it all in.
Stick it all in. Why not?
Stick it in.
Free for all. Everybody gets points.
Oh, we could get a nice load of points. Maybe somebody will get a full bingo card for the first time ever.
You never know. So before things escalate, Beverly outlines her plan to make an outfitted Enterprise shuttle into the corona of a nearby star, Vatan. The others are even more skeptical because that star's corona is super dense and highly volatile. Sounds a bit like me. Rhaegar has offered to pilot the shuttle as he's sure the shields will hold. However, Kurak wants someone more impartial, so Joe Brill volunteers as he's always wanted to penetrate a star.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh my.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. The thing is, that wasn't even a like a something I put in here for that purpose. That's literally what he says.
Got my attention on the rewatch. Like, okay.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna bat an eye to that. Okay.
Fair enough. Who wouldn't? Yeah. So. Yes, they all agree that that's the best way forward, and Joe Brill says that he is an accomplished pilot himself, so it shouldn't be a problem, and they will proceed at 1500 hours. Beverly is pleased at the progress they have made, and is satisfied with the outcome of her first scientific diplomatic venture. Pride before a fall, I say.
Is that a thing, though? Like, why is she doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. So she
Hobbies.
Yeah, that's it. She hasn't got a son here pestering her all the time, so she's got to find other ways to, mess her life up. It's sort of masochism, isn't it, in having children sometimes? It's like, I could have had a BMW, but no, I've got kids. She accompanies Dr. Rhaegar to his quarters, and they discuss how others see Ferengi scientists, and maybe some of the resistance is down to the fact that he had actually beaten the other scientists to it, and they're quite frankly a little jealous. So they meet again later on in the day at 1500 hours on the bridge at the allotted time. They launch the shuttle. It approaches the corona of the star, and everything looks like it's going good. Data, Tammy, data.
Oh.
Just look up to a big screen. That.
This episode's so dusty and dry with, it's hard to get some D up in there.
Yeah. So Jabril reports elevated neutrino levels in the cabin, but Rhaegar explains that they are formed from the subspace field. So it's all perfectly normal. Data reports on temperature rising outside the shuttle. Really, I only mentioned that just to stick another picture of Data in there. I could have just left that bit out. But,
thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. And Beverly reports the shield's holding. So Picard and the other scientists start to congratulate the Ferengi. And we see a good shot of the shuttle going into the star corona. Joe Brill penetrating the star. He's
putting it right on in there. He's going right in.
He's getting quite excited.
Wookie says, with that amount of shielding, it wouldn't leave much for any sensation. I doubt it would be a pleasurable penetration.
You never know.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like a reasonably smooth ride, I have to say.
Yeah.
Does anybody looking at that shot there get vibes of like the beginning of Voyager? I hear doom da doom doom da doom doom da da da.
Yeah.
That, you know, flies through the star corona like.
It does, yeah. With a little sort of starburst thingy going.
Yeah.
What's a bit cool about this episode so far is like going into the corona of the sun is not the first time they brought this up. But I don't know if they did it on purpose or if it was just a writing dynamic because they needed an aggressive person. But Worf's brother was one of the earlier depictions of people using flying into a corona in like a battle setting. So her scientifically being there wouldn't be so bad if they could figure out how to do that with more ships, because they were outnumbered when Kern was flying with Worf, and they went into a corona and took off so that a whelp from the star blew up the other ship once they took off again. So, I mean, it's got its applications other than just purely scientific field. So battle usage would be cool if you could do that. Have the shields and pull people in the stars to basically create a different type of warfare.
If that was the case, though, you'd think people would be wanting to keep it to themselves rather than broadcasting it to every other species. But yeah, you're right. I'm sure there would be. There's a lot of scientific discoveries. There are, some warlike applications for them, aren't there?
Genesis device.
But of course, maybe that's why the Ferengi ends up like the Ferengi ends up later on.
Yeah. Nuclear fusion gives us power. It gives us, it has a slight side effect. Yeah.
In the end, everybody's warm.
A bigger move.
Yeah. Okay, so Joe Bro reports in excitedly that he is entering the star, and he is now fully engulfed.
Oh, he's all over.
I'm just reporting what's going on. I'm just reporting what is going on.
We are very mature this episode.
Just as Rhaegar is bragging to the other scientists about how great his invention is, Data reports elevated baryon particles inside the shuttle, and Joe Brill looks to be having problems breathing.
Uh-oh. Is that good?
Yeah, he looks like he's enjoying himself. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. What a terrible O-face. No.
Oh.
Okay, this is not getting any better.
No. And the problem is, he's now too deep into the star to be beamed back out again.
Oh, my
gosh. He's stuck in there. So Picard...
They want him to use the pull-out method, but he can't.
No. So Picard
too far gone.
Walks him through, sort of backing the shuttle back out and bringing it back to the surface. And eventually he does pilot the shuttle back out of the star. And they beam him directly to sickbay. So... As the doc leaves the bridge, we can see a distressed Ferengi realizing that his research is done for. In sickbay, the doc tries to treat Joe Brill, but nothing works. And before dying, he remarks, "I saw the sun." I don't think he did, because the sun is like in Sol in Sector 001. So I think what he meant to say there was. I saw, what was the name of the star? Ventry.
Veritone.
Veritone.
Yeah.
It is.
Something like that.
Yeah. Whatever it is, he didn't see the sun. He saw a star. And he dies in sickbay. And here he is dead.
Oh, it was that good.
And
he dies with his O-face on.
Yeah. And just say, rigor hasn't set in yet. That's just his natural colour. He just, that's what he's supposed to look like. Yeah. And that is the end of Act 1. Question time.
So, So, Act 1 question. Which starbase does Bev have to get to await for her inquiry? Is it A, 21, B, Starbase 22, C, 23, or D, Starbase 24? And the bonus question is, what was the Klingon scientist's name?
Ooh. Sweetie, have you seen my notebook? Where are my notes?
I've just said it several times.
There it is.
K?
Sorry, I was just too busy reading some commentary. Who had a noisy mic? Was it me?
I did. I was the noisy mic.
Probably
because I kept having the loop backs and everything.
Brilliant. Okay, so any other factoids? Peter Marks here billed as Peter Slutsker. He played Rhaegar, the Ferengi, but he was also Nibor in Menage a Troy, plays Berta in Bloodlines, and a Kremen Commandant in Year of Hell Part 2. And Tavi, you sort of hinted at this, like, why would Bev be doing this? But rather than just general motivation, it's more a case of why would she suddenly have such an interest in shield technology? So, you know, she's obviously normally more interested in medical technology and such like, and she's demonstrated a real, you know, disinterest in these sorts of things whenever Wesley was trying to explain, you know, other kind of technology type stuff to her. She never seemed all that interested in it, and yet suddenly she has this interest in shield technology.
Yeah.
And I think we talked a bit about the Ferengi and Trisha O'Neill. And there was some just general stuff which might be considered as a goof, but also might not be. Is that apparently the surface of a star-like sun is only around 6,000 kelvins, and they talk about the temperature rising to like 0.9 million kelvins. But apparently, although the surface of a star is less, the corona with all the plasma that stretches out miles from the surface is actually much hotter.
Yeah.
And apparently our sun's corona is well over 1 million Kelvin, even though the surface of the sun is not. So I guess theoretically, if you've got a shield good enough to get through a corona, you could potentially land on the surface? That'd be cray-cray, right?
Well, the surface is not solid.
Well, no, it's not solid. You
No.
can hover on the
Isn't it?
Hover.
I thought it was like very plasmic. I guess it would like float.
Well, when I say not solid, I mean it's
Would
it's
it be
crushing
molten
gravity.
ball.
It's crushing gravity forces anyway. So anything you put there would be like, you know, broken down probably. Like no matter what it was, even if it could withstand the
Be like landing in a garbage disposal,
yeah,
constantly churning in on
it would
itself.
just get crushed and melted within, you know. But
Ruth says, is it a sun like ours? Yeah, I mean I don't think they really specify it, you know, size or density or make any comparisons.
it looks yellow though, so I imagine it's a
we'd have to
mainline.
assume it was.
A mainline, yeah.
They did talk about it being particularly volatile, like maybe we should find a safer, easier sun to do the test on. So, you know, but again, I don't know how that would compare to ours.
Yeah. Oh, guess what I learned about our sun? Our sun is actually a greenish color.
Oh.
When they actually do the full spectrum of like the colors and everything that it's giving off, it actually reflects more green. So our sun is actually a yellowish green color.
Is it?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
No.
That's the color of our sun.
No way.
So we have 4 answers in. We have C, correct, C, correct, C, correct, and B, Quran.
Well, I meant
Spot the odd one out.
Karak I couldn't remember it exactly, but I knew it was like that.
I'll give it to you on bonus, but you didn't mean, you got B instead of a C. So
oh yeah, no.
Unfortunately, you don't get the main points, but
it was a complete
you can go
guess.
on the wheel for the bonus point.
It was a complete guess. I didn't know. So is that everybody for the wheel then?
Everybody for the wheel.
So the wheel's the same as it was then, is it?
Wookie.
Same.
Right then, spinning the wheel. Do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh my God.
Monty again.
Oh
What?
Well, that makes up a little bit for your 40 points.
We're going to have to make an inquiry on this.
Wow.
However, everybody else is on 60 points and Monty Ban is on 40 points.
Oh, it's sad times. Even though I've got 2 wheel spins, I'm still last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very close.
We're on to Act 2. Let me just give this for... There you go.
Ooh,
soak it in.
look at his mouth. He's got... In this one, I always thought his face looked funny. The corners of his mouth look like Jack Nicholson's Joker, the way he cut up the corners.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it looks like that to anyone else. But just the shape of his lips and the way it goes in like that just looks like...
Yeah. Like
he looks like the Joker.
He's got some cotton wool stuck behind his... Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get rid of some of these tabs. I'm going to lose that in the end. Right, so... Act 2. Let's get the first picture. So we're back in the now. And Beverly laments her first attempt at scientific diplomacy has all gone wrong. And then she goes into the autopsy on Joe Brill, which was highly unusual. It's not unusual. So she explains to Picard
Have fun with anyone.
She explains to Picard that his physiology is baffling as he doesn't have any discrete organs and his rate of decay is next to nothing. Can I ask a question about that sentence? Because, if he has no discrete organs and he's like nothing she's ever seen before in any other alien, how comes we can see, there's hearts and there's lungs... And there's livers, 2 stomachs, large intestines, small intestines. I mean, those all...
Most Klingons have
very distinct.
A couple of redundant organs. But the way she described it's all completely distributed evenly throughout his whole body. That would imply he's got hearts in his arms and stuff.
That's right, yeah. But that's not what that diagram says.
No, I thought it was a bit... I was like, how is it, as the chief medical person, you have a new species on board your ship and you don't have the medical profile of that species? Just knowing the organs and everything, a diagram is one thing, but I'm like, you don't have any knowledge on this species?
It's because, like everyone else on this ship, they're crap at a job. She's just not very good at it. I think they're all not very good.
Stop going to she needs to go to she went to the wrong convention. You need to go to the medical convention.
She went to the metaphasic shielding technology convention by accident and forgot she was a doctor.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, oh, whatever, but I think even D&D players know how to pull up a correct monster manual pantheon that has all the pluses and minuses of this species. You just think she would have that in her system, because if something happens to this person, she's responsible for keeping them alive. So it's like, I don't understand why this information is not available to you, and that you're not aware of it, being that as the chief medical officer, you should probably be aware of all the species that are on your starship. Saying.
Plus, according to her interpretation of this scan, I don't think she knows what she's talking about anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
That whoever was it Shankar, whoever did the graphics just didn't get the memo of what the script was going to say.
No.
I meant to say something actually back here when they launched the shuttlecraft. Who's missing from the bridge at this point?
Deanna.
Who's the one person that could have indicated
Seen what was going on.
that could have indicated that Joe Brill's,
bullshit.
His intentions are not necessarily pure. His thoughts may be like the one person that could have stopped just happened to be not on the bridge at this moment.
Yeah, that's why she gets written out of stuff a lot, because she's kind of a cheat sheet for everything.
House.
Thank you, darling.
Been working too late. Bye, Smiler.
Smiler's here, everyone. Smiler's arrived.
Good. Glad she's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just an intermission. What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Mr. T.
Yes. So, right, we're talking about organs. There you go. So, she explains to. We said that. So something
Maybe it has like a double dong, like Klingons as well.
Yeah, they cut the image off at that point. And they didn't show that bit. I mean, it's triplicated, like his lungs and his heart. So it could be like a squid down there, couldn't it? I don't know.
Oh my.
Who knows? Anyway, so something caused a massive wide failure, but no apparent reason. Picard recommends she get some rest. He tells her that at the moment she is the loneliest person in the world, and she's in pain right now, but in time she will learn to deal with it. But Beverly's too preoccupied to listen to his advice. She just wants to get some answers. In the shuttle bay, Geordi and Data analyze the shuttle with Dr. Rhaegar. Data informs Rhaegar that the plasma flow regulators, the field emitter coils, and the radial force compensators were all functioning within normal parameters. They report their findings to Beverly, with Geordi reporting he did find some microcrystalline damage to the hull, confirming that the shield was breached by baryonic radiation. Rhaegar is upset and refuses to believe his shield was at fault. Mr. Tavigans used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on him. All right. Beverly
That delicious profile with Data was gorgeous. He looked like he was looking down on Geordi like, we did not talk about this together. I actually have some freaking, you talking over me, countering what I just said. It's like, we'll talk about this later when we leave.
It's because he does like everything's in normal parameters. We haven't found anything, and then Geordi comes forward and goes, I found a crack.
Actually. Actually.
All right. Smelly pants. Yes. Beverly gathers the scientists back together and informs them, in light of the accident, all further tests will be cancelled, and they hope that Dr. Rhaegar one day perfect his shielding. Rhaegar pleads with them to have more time. He is sure it will work, though Tapan is less enthusiastic, declaring she doesn't believe it will ever work. That's a bit rich for a Vulcan, isn't it? To say that, she just doesn't believe it will ever work.
Yeah. I don't feel like that's very logical.
That's not very logical, is it?
Yeah.
That sounds almost emotional.
The odds just don't match up with that.
How could she say it will never ever work?
And she's supposed to be the director of science at the Vulcan.
Plus, it's a belief. It's like, come on, you're a scientist.
To say, being involved with science as a scientist, she would almost know, almost as a fact that, try and try again with science, you eventually get there and invent new things and work your way around problems. So she should be almost certain that it will work one day, but it doesn't work today.
Yeah. It's amazing she actually took the lemon out of her mouth long enough to get the words out before popping it back in again.
You were throwing shade tonight.
She's got one of those faces, isn't she? That's just like, anyway. Rhaegar pleads. Oh, no, I just said that. I said that. Rhaegar says he offers to pilot the shuttle himself, but Beverly won't allow it. Beverly notes in her commentary to Guinan that was the last time She saw him alive. Oh, a sneeze just came out of nowhere.
I liked the way you went life. I thought it was for emphasis.
I sneezed and said the last word. It was the last word of the act, and I was determined to get it out, even though I was in the middle of a sneeze. I just projected alive. Okay, that was the end of the act, and question time.
Okay, so this is sorry that this is such a rubbish question. This was the last one I was grappling for just before we went live. What micro damage does Geordie find? Is it microcrystalline, microwave, microfractures, or microradiation? And the bonus question is, what was the name of the shuttle? Monty Pan's shaking his head.
I don't know, have we got a picture that we can all cheat on?
No.
Yes, there probably is. Stop it.
No.
Yes, you didn't have the
Didn't.
picture.
No.
There was a picture of it with it written really big right in the middle of the screen.
I didn't include that picture. Damn it.
I have foxed you with that one then. That's good.
I'm going to wait until Tavi answers and then I'm going to copy her answer.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
So the only other bit of trivs I have is that James Horan, who plays Joe Brill, has appeared in all 4 Star Trek spin-off television series. He was Lieutenant Barnaby in Descent, Tosin in Fair Trade, Ikatika in Purgatory's Shadow, and By Inferno's Light, a humanoid figure in Broken Bow Part 1, Cold Front, Shockwave Part 1, Shockwave Part 2, and The Expanse. In addition, he lent his voice to Star Trek Games Klingon Academy and Starfleet Command 3 2002.
Was that Joe Brill?
All over. That's Joe Brill, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Brill. And I thought in the autopsy, it's sort of his colouring on his body looked a bit naff, wasn't it? It's like obvious somebody just splattered some blue paint down the centre of his torso. I thought it looked particularly slapdash. Oh, everybody's coming in with the A's. Nobody knows what the shuttle's called.
Does it begin with V? Does it begin with V?
Can you tell us what it begins with?
I can tell you it begins with a J.
J. Oh, that's it.
No, it is not a V. Well, see, Sean often asks the what is the shuttle called questions, so I kind of expected everybody to have this. So I'm a little bit surprised that you're foxed. But,
Well, I thought it
never
might be a
mind.
question, so I didn't put it in my notes, so I didn't say it. But then that's left me vulnerable.
Oh.
Everyone says it's A? Huh.
Oh, Tabby doesn't know either question. Oh, golly.
You could be onto something. We could all be wrong. Maybe they all just copied me because I just put one in there first, Tavi.
You did actually say it in your text, in your speech, in your narration.
Did I?
Yeah. You didn't say the shuttle name, but you did answer the first question in your speech.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So Stu Plum has gone for a J word.
Hold on, don't finish it yet.
I like his
How much
J
longer do we
word.
give it for answers?
Yeah.
10, 9,
Yeah.
8, 7,
Jesus Maria.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
5, 4, 3. What's Monty Man doing? 2.
I don't know. I just put in a J name that I could think of off the top of my head.
Ooh.
Right.
Yes,
What's the
Justman
answers?
is correct.
Ah,
Presumably
Justman.
after producer Robert H. Justman. So yeah, just Tavi and Stuplum for the wheel, and
Against
A was also correct.
Wookiee.
It was microcrystalline damage. So yeah, everybody gets the 60 points, and only Stuplum and Tavi could get the bonus points.
Oh, Wookiee! The
1 in 3
pain.
chance.
Did you have to make them so big? Come on, triple it up. Thank you.
There we go.
Gone for a quadruple.
Let's spin the wheel. Do, 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 do. It's Stuplum. Well done, Stuplum.
Yes.
Well done, Stu. He deserves it, because I was just guessing and I was like, just put what Stuplum said.
Good job. Good job,
It was
Stuplum.
definitely not Jesus or Justin. So Stuplum is now in the lead with 130 points, Ruth and Tavi on 120, and Monty Ban on 100.
Smiling rainbows in, shuttlecraft in the sky. I can fly twice as high.
Woohoo. Up above the streets and houses, rainbow flying high. Yeah, you're not going to know that one. All the world can see it smiling over the sky. Right, Act 3. Worf and Beverly find Rhaegar holding a plasma infuser. They cannot tell from looking at the body whether he was murdered or committed suicide. Only an autopsy would tell her for sure. I don't know how an autopsy would tell her for sure, how they can't figure out from, like, the evidence in the room, you know? Like, was there a sign of a struggle? Was there evidence of someone else entering or exiting the room? You know, I mean, you can tell certain things from an autopsy, but quite often from a crime scene, they get the evidence of recreate what actually happened, you know?
Like discharged weapon energy, all this other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did they say did they even say what he died of?
Well, it was the plasma discharge, wasn't it?
It was a plasma blast, yeah. But they said, you know, it was whether it was accidental or whether somebody did it to him on purpose. But presumably, like you say, the body would still have died of a plasma blast. Like, I don't know how it would determine whether it was, you know, accidental or not. You're right. It's more things in the room, or I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, blast
anyway,
radius.
Only an autopsy will tell, but later on, it's like, yeah, she found nothing.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, it's not, you're pinning it all on an autopsy, but that's not really how it works, is it, normally?
Yeah.
So, yes, I must have an autopsy. Beverly doesn't think the Ferengi would off himself, though, as he was too passionate about the project he was working on. She goes to Picard for advice. Oops, no. Oopsie, no. Over here. Over here. Get to where you're supposed to go, little picture. Okay, she goes to Picard for advice. He questions how she knows his motives and what's going on in his head. It's not like you're empathic or anything, because that would have been more useful in this situation. Oh no, we're not bringing Deanna into it. Though, yeah, there we go. So the doc does go. Oh God, picture, come here. So the doc goes to go and complete an autopsy, but Picard stops her and says that the family have forbidden it due to the Ferengi death ritual. She wants to talk to them to convince them otherwise, but Picard doesn't allow it. He advises her she will have to find other evidence. See, that's what I was saying, wasn't it? You know, find other evidence. Don't just rely on the autopsy. No. It's also strange that he won't allow her to even talk to them or discuss any alternative. You know, it's just a flat no. We're not going to pursue any other avenues. It's just no. Even though, you know, as a captain, he could have a murderer on board his starship right now.
Yeah.
You'd think that would take immediate priority, and they'd use their diplomatic skills to see if they can find a way forward, rather than just nope.
Nope, it's not that important.
No.
He was just a Ferengi. He was just a Ferengi.
Yeah.
His life.
So.
And a scientist is that.
Beverly heads to the morgue to see what she can find out through non-invasive tricorder scans, and explains to Nurse Ogawa that she needs to do an autopsy because she knows he was poisoned. Because for all she knows, he could have been poisoned and made it look like a plasma gun suicide, made to look like a plasma gun, suicide. Who knows until you have an autopsy, apparently. So she decides to go question.
He looks a bit ropey, doesn't he?
Hey, he does, doesn't he? He looks a bit like salted ham.
You'd think they'd have him in stasis or something.
This is it. Like, why would he degrade that much? It's only been a few hours, and
So,
I think he's frozen. He's frozen. And that's supposed to be the frost on the body.
I was going to say, I've got some cheese that looks like that in the fridge.
yeah, right. Smile and Rainbow says he looks moldy. Yeah, it's kind of gross.
You never know. They might decay quite quickly.
Yeah. So she decides to go question the scientists, leaving Ogawa to put the body back away. Like, she walks into the morgue, she pulls the body out, does what she needs, and then just leaves. And leaves Ogawa there in the morgue with the body to like put away herself. She doesn't ask her to do it or anything. But
that's what happens when you're chief medical.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Apparently, Wookie was AFK for a while, but he heard me sneezing in the background. So she starts with Christopher and Japan. They are taken aback at the suggestion that they could be involved, as they are respected scientists. They have a reputation as leaders in their field. How dare she? Suck,
Does
suck
that
on the
mean
lemon,
that
she
they
goes.
can also not be murderers? That's not how that works.
She can't suck on lemons and be murdering people at the same time. It's just not going to happen.
I just love the lemons.
The sassy Japan here, after removing the lemon from her mouth that she was sucking, points out that as the test was unsuccessful, her reputation was secure, so the motive behind the attack would be illogical. Ooh, get you. Beverly tries a different tact and asks, well, did you notice anything unusual? But Christopher goes on a rant that he finds her line of questioning distasteful. But then admits that, well, he did witness an argument between Rhaegar and Kurek, with Kurek saying that she wouldn't stand for her honor to be insulted. So Beverly visits Kurek in the lab and finds her continuing research in Rhaegar's shields. Beverly points out that now Rhaegar's gone, she's free to develop the idea herself, and asks her where she was, what she was arguing with Rhaegar about. Then, when Beverly won't back down from that line of questioning, Kurek pushes her across the room into the wall. Beverly gets up and continues, though. She just brushes herself off, and Kurek eventually backs down and admits that he accused her of sabotage. But she says she did not do it.
Isn't Worf and them carrying on this investigation? I find it strange that she's decided to just walk up in people's rooms and start accusing people of murder. And
Well, that's where this whole thing would have made a bit more sense with it being Worf, wouldn't it?
yeah, it's like, what do you get out doing, going around investigating this on your own and then walking up in people's rooms?
Well, also, hasn't the Enterprise got a science officer? Shouldn't a science officer be leading this rather than the chief medical officer? And shouldn't Worf be leading the investigation? Where's the science officer and the security officer? Why is it the chief doctor doing all this? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, but the whole premise for this was for it to be a bit like a Quincy Emmy type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The medical doctor who investigates moiders.
And it gives, it gives Beverly something to do, doesn't it? Moiders. I used to love Quincy Emmy. That was great. I remember watching that in your flat. Remember when you first moved out? We used to sit there and have an afternoon and watch Quincy Emmy.
Quincy Emmy, brilliant.
So Beverly's monologue to Guinan, she admits to getting nowhere with the investigation, so she makes the fateful decision to do the autopsy anyway. Consequences be damned. We then get this slightly sinister shot of her standing over the Ferengi's body. Dun, 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 dun. And then she goes to Picard and tells him that he's not going to be happy about this. But I did the autopsy anyway. He's like, you're right. I'm not happy about it.
Stuck her finger in his ears.
Yeah. He said, well, what did you find? And she said, nothing. I found nothing. Picard tells her she not only disobeyed his orders, but also interfered with the burial ritual of another culture. The family will probably react very strongly, and no doubt the Ferengi government will also get involved. So basically, you're screwed.
And she got nothing out of it. I thought that was a bit crazy for someone to try that, because I'm like, Ferengi is not a part of the Federation.
No.
That's not just like I'm like, that's like not interstellar. I'm like, these are different major powers you're effing with.
Yeah.
You're not gonna take that.
So she accepts her fate and the consequences that it brings. That's her I'm resigned to my fate pose. Back in Beverly's quarters, that concludes the story. That's it. We're all up to date. This is how she screwed up her entire career. Guinan agrees that actually it was the backhand volley. That's how she screwed up her elbow. And angrily, Beverly is like, what? Your elbow? People have died here. And you're worried about your tennis game? I actually quite liked seeing Beverly get, proper angry kind of at that point, It was good to see her get, a bit vicious.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, she was proper fuming. I'd like to see that side of her a little bit more, actually. That sort of more passionate side, rather than the cutesy mumsy side that she's always got. But
she can't show that side. She's already been fired once.
Yeah. Guyan's like, are you upset? Beverly's like, even more annoyed now. She says, yeah. You're supposed to be wise. What do you think? And Guyan's like, well,
That's a great line.
yeah. If you're upset, why don't you do something about it? And she's like, what can I do? And she's like, well, you could get fired, bearing in mind that she's kind of already been fired. And she's like, oh yeah, there's not much more they can do. I got nothing to lose. And that was the end of Act 3. Question time.
Sorry, I posted the questions a little bit early. So, Act 3 question. In which science lab did Rhaegar die? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4? And the bonus question. What is the name of Crusher's helpful nurse? Both names.
Both names?
I think we've said her surname a few times in the
I don't know her first name.
Don't know her first name? How can you not know her name?
What's her name?
Oh, you'll kick yourself when you hear it.
All right, I've already got my guess. Let me see.
Anyway. What bits do we have? Yeah, so there's something about this Ferengi death rite thingy-majiggy. Like, what's that all about? I'm guessing it's something that maybe they changed their mind on, sort of story-wise. But we see quite a bit later in Deep Space Nine that Ferengi actually have a process of vacuum desiccating their remains and selling like 52 discs of vacuum desiccated remains to the highest bidder. People can buy bits of their loved ones and keep them for safekeeping, and it's a way of a Ferengi for earning money on their final things. So, I mean, whether that happens after this death ritual, or whether the vacuum desiccation stuff only applies to certain higher stationed Ferengi, I don't know, but certainly not messing with the body seems to be a little bit counter to what we find out about the Ferengi later on.
Oh, no, I've seen Bryce's Alyssa. I'm like, oh, bloody hell, of course it's Alyssa. God damn it.
I told you you'd kick yourself when you saw it.
I just thought maybe just in vain hope that her first name was actually Nurse.
What's messed up is I knew Nurse was wrong, but I was like, it's not Nurse, but maybe it's Nancy. That's close to Nurse. That's why I think it's Nurse.
Nurse Nancy would be good, though. If someone was called Nancy, you'd have to call them Nurse Nancy, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Nurse Nancy. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't really have much other goofs and trivs for this section.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, so I think you guys mentioned that.
Oh, thank you.
That the security of the ship might be at stake due to a potential murder. Therefore, Picard should really have allowed an autopsy in this situation.
Murder.
You know, he does say that her theory isn't enough evidence to support overruling the Ferengi customs, but you would think that, he'd think that the, safety of the ship was more important. Yeah.
Nah, his death count's low. He can afford.
Right. So I think we have all the answers. We have 2 and Alyssa Ogawa. We have 4 and Nurse Ogawa. We have 4 and Alyssa Ogawa. And we have 3. So, this question may be not as easy as one might have initially anticipated. The lab, it is in science lab number 4.
Yay!
So, Van and Tabby got that one right. And the name is indeed Alyssa Ogawa. So Ruth and Tabbykins for the wheel.
Right. Spinning the wheel.
With Wookiee.
Oh! It's the Wookiees.
You know when you've been Wookieed.
Oh, that's a double whammy for Ruth. Poor Ruth.
Poor Ruth.
Didn't get the first bit of the question right and then gets minus 10 points
So
on the
it's
second bit.
it's been a whole downer for Ruth for that round.
Yeah. At least you netted 70 overall that time, Sally. So that's not so bad. So, Montalban, you have sort of shot back up the rankings a bit. So we've got Tabby in the lead with 190. We've got Monty close behind with 180.
Oh.
Stuplum's next with 130. And Ruth is in 4th place with 110.
I've gone all the way from the back to the front. See, it can all turn around. Well, second to front. I'll take it. Only 10 points behind. It's all to play for.
Yeah.
It just goes to show in these later rounds, it can all shuffle about. You never know.
Yeah, and this whole thing hasn't been quite as close as I thought it would be, being that I thought my answers were all going to be good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so before Act 4, I just wanted to let you know that I gave away all my used batteries today.
Your used batteries?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's going to be another dad joke.
They were free of charge.
Oh, dear.
I thought you were referring to the video as well. Like, I thought you were giving commentary on Data.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, okay, back on the shuttle. Data is still investigating.
Like I knew it was coming, but there was nothing I could do about it.
You couldn't run away. No.
I wanted to stop it from happening.
No, it's terrible. Okay, back in the show, Data's still investigating, and Beverly asks him if it could have been sabotage. Data thinks if it was, it would have to be done inside the shuttle, and it's not like Joe Brill would have caused his own death. The only other way would have been from a pulse from a lateral sensor array to form a tetryon field inside the shuttle. Beverly realizes this is something she can test for. I have to say, with this episode, I was very confused about the whole baryon particles, tetryon fields, crystalline fractures. I guess it's just
radiation,
within the rewrites and the edits and everything. It all got a little bit confusing what the actual.
But at least we do know that baryon particles are harmful to human flesh and stuff because of the what was that they're called again?
Enemy mine, I think.
Starship mine.
Starship
mine. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, where they all have to evacuate for the baryon sweep.
Yeah.
So at least we got that little bit of knowledge there. But yeah, Tetryon's no idea.
At least the shuttle's now clean. Bonus. So whilst heading to sickbay, Riker catches up with her and tells her the arrangements for her leaving has been organised and to not do anything foolish. He's heard about what she's been doing, and he advises her not to make the situation worse. He tells her to go read a good book and relax. She thanks him for his concern. I think he does a really bad job here of being a first officer, because at the end of the day, she's the only person that's mildly concerned that there's a murderer on the ship. And even the first officer's like, don't worry about it. Just go take it easy. Just relax. Don't worry. She's like, there's a murderer.
Be like, don't worry. The guy's only going around killing nerds.
Yeah.
Where most of us are safe.
So she goes
He's
to...
normally like a bit of a maverick. Of all the people that would be giving her a lecture on proper behaviour, he doesn't seem like a likely choice.
No. In her office, she finds she's locked out of all the autopsy files, so Nurse Ogawa sneakily gives her access to the files. That sneaky little Nurse Ogawa.
She's going to get fired too.
Yeah, she's so sneaky. Beverly doesn't want her getting into trouble, though, so orders her not to do it. But sneaky little Nurse Ogawa points out that she ain't her boss anymore, so she can do what she wants. Sneaky little Nurse Ogawa.
Whatever. I do what I want.
Wookie said we wouldn't be very safe on that ship. If
Not at the
going
moment.
around murdering
No, we'd be slaughtered. Lambs to slaughter.
Oh, yeah.
You nerds. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh. I'm going to put on my cloak of invisibility and you won't be able to see me. I got it from the Harry Potter gift shop, god damn it. After reviewing... No, I'm just going to throw a 12 on my dice and I'll get away. No, god damn it.
I've got plasma, a defense against plasma plus 10.
Yeah. After reviewing all the records, they head to the morgue and Beverly gets out Joe Brill's body. She runs a tissue scan and eventually does pick up some tetryon particles. And eventually they do find some. So Beverly leaves Ogawa to put the body away again. Once again, we get Ogawa left in the morgue with a body to put away. She's like, you son of a bitch.
I don't work here. Here's the shitty stuff.
Yeah. I'm not
do that.
I'm not even, you're not even my boss anymore, and I'm still left here in the morgue putting bodies away. God damn it.
People that get upset and you never close the drawers and the cabinets. She just got that look on her face like, could you not have closed it?
Yeah. On the bridge, Troy. Bloody hell, Troy, where have you been? All this shit's going down. You would have been a big help.
What a time to take a vacay.
Yeah, she expresses her concern about Beverly. She has concerns. No shit. When Data reports that an unscheduled shuttle has launched, they contact the shuttle and it's Beverly, telling Picard that she's testing a theory. And then we get this shot of Data here, just because Data reported the shuttle is being launched. Now I thought I can't go through that part without showing the picture of Data, because else Tavikins will not be pleased. So that's the
I will log off and go to bed.
That's the Data pic for you there. And then we see Beverly there. That's the reveal that, oh no, Beverly's in the shuttlecraft and she's testing a theory. And that's the end of Act 4. And we have another question time.
Didn't quite get them in there in advance this time. But first one is coming now. So when Riker was telling Beverly she was going to get picked up the next day, what time did he say the shuttle was coming? Was it 0600 hours, 0700 hours, 0800 hours, or 0900 hours? And the bonus question, we actually had a bit of conversation about this, so hopefully it won't be too bad. But what was the trace elements that Crusher was searching for in Joe Brill's cells? What kind of particles? You said it about 6 times.
It was... I'm not quite sure how you spell it now, but it's roughly like that.
That's fine. As long as we know what you mean.
Yeah.
That works.
Anything else with this act? Any other trivia?
The only thing, I mean, it was nice to have a chief medical officer's log. There's actually been no captain's log in this episode, has there? Which I think is because of the narration, or the, like with Bev's sort of voiceover throughout. If there was any kind of captain's log, it would just be a bit confusing to have 2 people doing a voiceover. But we do have a chief medical officer's log, personal. So that's quite cool to be different. And then also the metaphasic shielding technology was later used by the Enterprise D under command of Dr. Crusher in Descent Part 2 to combat the Borg. So that's going to be coming up in not too terribly long. Also, James Horan, who plays Joe Brill, also guest stars in that episode. So that's as Lieutenant Barnaby. So there's a couple of ties in between this episode and Descent Part 2.
My beautiful Lord.
Everybody except Topic. Oh no, everybody's answered. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, everybody has said 0700, and everybody has said Typhrions, which are correct on both counts.
That's good, because I answered first, and that 0700 was an absolute 100% guess. I had no idea. I just chose one, and for once I was actually right. We do live in Plymouth, Wookie. Yes. Yeah. It is 21:29.
Right now it's 21:29 GMT. What's the time over there in Plymouth?
It's that.
I think you're fine. We're in the same time zone, babe.
Yes, we're in the same time zone. Yes.
I know, we're real far away.
Same country, same time zone. Yeah. I know we're quite far west, but yeah. Okay, so the wheel of misfortune.
Fortune is sublime.
So Monty got it, Ruth got it, Tavi got it, and Stuplum got it. Is that everyone?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Right.
To be a cat.
Spinning the wheel. What's Forrest Gump's computer password?
Stuplum.
Stuplum.
Nicely done.
Well done.
2 for Monty.
Well done, Stuplum. Stu. Yes, have you heard what Forrest Gump's computer password was? 1 Forrest 1. 1 Forrest 1.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. No.
Go stand in the corner for that.
Yeah.
Deary me.
Without
No
geometry.
change in the position after that round.
Okay. Yeah. Act 5. Act 5. Just a little act to go. 5. Right. Picard orders Worf to override the shuttle and return it to the shuttle bay, but Beverly has locked out navigation control, and the tractor beam doesn't work with the solar interference. She thinks the only reason it failed was that it was due to sabotage, so she is going to prove that it actually works. Data reports that she's entering the corona, and that doesn't mean she's getting a virus. She's just entering a star. Picard wants to know what's happening, but everything is going well. The shield holds, and everything looks good until they lose contact. Dun, 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 dun. Whilst Beverly is trying to contact the ship, Joe Brill gets out of one of the storage units and pulls a phaser on her.
Okay, let's talk for a minute here.
Yeah.
Okay, I've worked with the remains, and I've seen Deep Space Nine where Julian Bashir has actually taken samples out of a body. So how does Joe Brill make it through an autopsy and then stand up later and get out of an icebox in time to get to the shuttle before her?
Find his clothes, which would have probably been gotten rid of as like medical waste, and then sneak all the way through the ship and get onto a shuttlecraft and
I just feel like he would never
detect when there's another life sign on board, and it's all a little bit far-fetched, isn't it?
It's like, how did you survive the autopsy again?
He's an alien without normal organs. I don't know, whatever she described earlier on.
You're really good at playing dead if you can sit still through getting pieces of your body pulled out of you.
Well, I don't even know if that's how they do autopsies these days, because it just looked like the autopsy of him was just waving
but like in DS9
control unit, like over
we got this.
The thing.
We got to see Bashir, and I got to see Bashir in one of the episodes do an autopsy. He literally sticks something in, and it pulls out a piece of something, and that's just a regular autopsy he's doing. So I would presume.
I don't know. That's Bashir, though. You don't
that
know.
They're taking tissue samples.
You don't know
because
how Julian,
tissue is the issue here.
You don't know how Julian gets his kicks, though, do you? He's a bit of a strange one, to be honest. Yeah, he's not dead, Jim. He's not dead.
Good point.
He's not dead. He's not dead, Jim. Yeah. Very good, Steeplum. It was all a bit strange, but here he is, large as life. I almost thought at the end of this one that she was going to wake up and it was all a dream. You know, none of it ever happened. It was just, I don't know. She had something bad at a conference and it made her have a bad dream. She was still there.
Oh, Ruth loves that you're referencing Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Great. And I, now that you're so far through it, I don't have to keep thinking, oh, spoilers every time I say something.
Yeah.
No.
It's very cool. We love
Rom, he's my Star Trek hubby.
Very cool.
Sad face. He's like saying, I can't believe you just said that, Tabby. I can't.
It was never Data. It's lore.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yes, finally referencing Deep Space Nine. It's been a long time getting from there.
Oh no! Here. Don't do it. Okay. That intro is blasphemy.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. So she realizes that the slow cellular decay that she noticed in the autopsy meant that actually he was alive and conscious the whole time. Not only alive, but conscious. He didn't even put himself in like a deep catatonic state or something. He was awake and conscious the whole time. So yes, he sends out a transient signature, a subspace signal, to obscure the shuttle and to simulate a warp core breach. He admits that he was just planning on discrediting the Ferengi, but now he can return home to Takara with the working prototype bonus. All he has to do now is wait here until the Enterprise gives up and leaves. But before he has a chance to do that, she knocks the phaser out of his hands and pitches the shuttle to one side, sending him off balance. The struggle...
Because inertial dampeners suddenly don't work.
No. A struggle ensues, and Beverly eventually vaporizing Joe Brill after shooting a hole in his torso. Here's the pictures on how that all transpired. It's a pretty good effect of the phaser blast through his torso. It's pretty...
if he can live through an autopsy, he can live through that.
He can live through that. I like the bits dripping in the middle was a nice touch. I don't know if that was like
graphic.
I don't know if that was done in like just for the HD versions, but it was really well done. There's firing a second phaser volley, and there's Joe Brill getting vaporized. I like the way you can just see one eye staring at her. You know. So, on the bridge, they're about to set out a search pattern to go looking for the shuttle when it emerges unharmed from the star. Crusher reports that all is now well. She now has all the answers she was looking for. And later in a medical log, we learn that she's been reinstated and everything is all fine. In 10 Forward, Beverly visits Guinan to repay a favour. She's got her the latest tennis racket that counteracts tennis elbow. Guinan amusingly thanks her for the racket, but admits she doesn't play tennis. She never has. Lol. And they have a good giggle.
Oh, sorry, lol.
Lol.
That was funny.
They have a good giggle about it. It's like very 60s Star Trek. Like people have died and there's murderers, and they end the episode on a good hearty laugh together. Yeah, that was the end of the episode. Done. Final question time.
Hold on.
Question: where is Joe Brill from? Is it A, Tekken, B, Sakara, C, Takara, or D, Taraka? And the bonus question, which is super mega easy, so everybody's on the wheel. What did Crusher get Guinan in the end?
I don't know. What could it be? I don't know. It's
mega easy one.
It's a bit of a difficult
A
one.
complete waste of time. Well, I mean, a complete waste of money. A paperweight.
What was it? What is it?
There you go.
I don't understand why you would need to get a... Go ahead, sorry.
No, carry on.
I don't understand why there would be tennis rackets in the future that wouldn't just automatically not cause tennis elbow. Like, why would you need to get the one that doesn't injure you? You think that would just be standard?
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, they're always redesigning these things over time, I guess. You know, maybe eventually you do get to like some utopian perfect racket.
I mean, I know it's not what they're focusing on.
So trips and goofs and stuff. So I think earlier on, when Joe Brill towards the beginning said, "I saw the sun" or something, or "I was in the sun," whatever it was he said, and I think was it you, Tavi, who commented that it's not the sun, it's a star. The sun is our sun.
Oh no, it wasn't me. It was someone else.
Yeah.
Who was?
Well, I don't know who said that. Somebody said that.
I think it was Monty.
Mark Van. So similarly,
Someone said
Data
my name.
also. You what?
Someone said my name. Sorry,
Yeah.
zoned out for a sec. What's going on?
We were just talking about the fact that referring to this star as the sun. The
Yes.
sun is actually, from the Sol system.
Yeah.
But Data does the same thing in Act 5. So, this does happen sometimes on the show where they talk about a star as the sun. And other humans maybe you think might do it as a slip of the tongue, but Data, of all people, should use the kind of correct scientific or technical term. But yeah. What else?
It's like also they should call the moon Luna, because the moon is like planet. It's just a technical term. It's our moon. We call the moon, but it's like just a moon. Everyone has moons, but ours is Luna. So I don't know.
So is that the same for the sun and the Sol then?
Sol, yeah. So I guess, yeah. Sol.
So Sol is its name. So you could call other stars
their suns.
The same that you could call other moons the moon.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
It might not be so technically wrong.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Ruth's saying like maybe it's kind of a colloquial way of describing it, which is true, but still you'd expect Data to be a bit more scientific about it. But I also had, what he was pretending to be dead. How did he get his clothes back on? How did he sneak through the ship, etc., which we already covered. One of the interesting things about this episode is more than half of it, like I think a good deal more than half of it, probably 3/4 of it, is told in flashback. Very little of this episode is actually in present time, which is quite interesting. We already talked about the metaphasic shielding being used in Descent Part 2. There is at some point in this episode, I must admit I didn't notice where it was, but there is some stock footage used from the 4th season episode Final Mission, which includes the featuring of a particular Ensign Allenby. But I read that piece of trivia before I watched the episode, but I didn't actually notice where that footage was. And I think we already mentioned about the fact that, this was supposed to be a bit Quincy-ish, and Quincy was almost like a forerunner to other things like NCIS and CSI and things like that. That all came later on. And picking up on Ruth's point, Crusher was relieved of duty because she'd performed an autopsy against his family's wishes. And then at the end, she's like, I was right. And proved that by taking a shuttlecraft without permission. And so she compounded her previous errors by also disobeying orders. But because she was right, like everything was fine. Like surely she should have still been going for this inquiry about the fact that she'd wrongly performed an autopsy. I mean, to be fair, it means that her argument or her case would be stronger to say, well, I thought that there was a murderer on board and there did turn out to be a murderer on board.
Would it? Because, what would you believe, right? That this guy faked his own death, somehow masqueraded being alive and conscious through an autopsy, then got himself out, thawed himself off, found his clothes, got himself onto the shuttle without anybody on the Enterprise and the computer realizing, and then launch an attack onto Beverly? Or did Beverly just have his body beamed onto the shuttle where she shot it with a phaser beam just to prove that she was right all along?
My notes. Is there any evidence at all to support what she actually says happened? Because with comms being cut and the fact that she vaporized him, nobody else witnessed that. So
you guys got real dark there.
She just put his body on the shuttle, dragged it through the Enterprise, stuck it on the shuttle, took a phaser. But
she was actually one of the only people who had access to the body, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nurse Ogawa didn't do a good job of putting it back away. She didn't close the drawer properly, and yeah. So let me get this right? With the plot of this story, right? We got to believe that Joe Brill decided to put himself. they knew that there's someone was going to test the shuttle, that they'd require a volunteer. He'd volunteer. He'd then set up the scenario with the baryon particle and the tetrions to fake his own death, but then not be dead, live his way through an autopsy and being frozen in the morgue, and then knew at the right time to come out of the morgue, defrost himself off, sneak through the Enterprise, kill the scientist, steal his research, get back into the morgue, refreeze himself, hide his clothes away, get back out of the morgue, get dressed again, find his way to the shuttlecraft, hide in the shuttlecraft because he knew Beverly was going to steal the shuttle at some point and prove that the shield did work, so that he could then jump out on her whilst she was in the sun, pull a phaser on her, and take the shuttlecraft to his own world and escape without anybody realizing. Right? So that was his whole plan.
Didn't that go directly to the shuttle from looking at his body?
Yes.
So, like, he somehow, even though Alyssa was there, he managed to sneak past her and get dressed and get to the shuttlecraft before Bev.
Yeah. And in one of the first acts, the Ferengi says, I'll share my research with anyone. All I want is some help developing it. So even at the beginning...
Wookie says he's like the Darren Brown of Aliens.
But at the get-go, the Ferengi says he'll give it away. He'll share the research with anybody that wants to help him develop it. So there was absolutely no reason to do that, because if he'd have just gone, I'll help, he would have gone, oh, here's the research, this is where we're at. No. Job done.
Can we get a copy of that PowerPoint?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, I don't know. That just seemed crazy, really. It seemed a whole lot crazy.
It did, but there is a hole in your summation at one point. What makes you think he put on his clothes to kill the Ferengi?
No, I suppose he could have just made his way through the Enterprise naked.
Moldy ass alien just running around naked.
People have been like, wasn't he in the morgue? Like, I think there's a zombie walking through the ship. Brains.
You know what? You could probably walk through the ship and just go holodeck, and people would be like, oh, yeah. No questions asked beyond that point. A holodeck incident. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
that's naked guy walking through the halls.
It's Tuesday. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. That was the end. Do we have answers to the questions then?
Yes, everybody put C and tennis racket, and it was indeed C and tennis racket.
Right. So
everybody's on the spinny wheel.
So it's as it was. As was. I'll spin the wheel. Do. Who's it going to be? Oh no, not Wookiee. Ruth! Yay!
Oh, I wanted to say Wookiee in the end. Oh, come on.
It was Ruth. Well done, Ruth. You got those final, very important points.
Yeah,
let's see what that does to the score. So we shall freeze the bingo at that point, and we'll let.
We already have the bingo. The bingo scores in.
Oh, do we? Oh, we have the bingo
which
scores.
I must say, I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get any bingo scores, because I also couldn't answer any questions, so I don't get any points this week.
No.
Never mind.
Oh no.
Does not matter.
It's a disaster.
So I have the points ready to go.
And if all you guys in live chat land would like to start thinking about what you would give this episode out of 10, from 0 out of 10, what would you rate this episode? Let us know. And right, I am ready for the scores.
Oh, I got 100 Smiler points. That's more important.
Oh, that's
Thank
pretty
you, Smiler.
Very nice. I will put plus 100.
Smiler points. Brilliant.
There we go. Oh, it's
Yay, I'm
Yeah,
winning.
now.
why did it come up with an error? Oh. Plus. No. Didn't like that, did it? It thought I was doing an equation. It still thinks I'm doing an equation.
Don't worry about it. You can put it in quotations, but don't worry.
Yeah, I am going to put it in quotations, Nick. Right. There you go.
There we go. Okay, so only 5 points in it at the top. So Tavakins is top of the pops with 410.
No.
So she has 10 points on the
Wow,
scoreboard.
I think that's pretty much done the championship in for this season, I think.
Monty Ban is hot on her heels
Am
with
I?
405. It's only 5 points less with 9 points.
Oh, my word. I was not thinking that. 174.
Trying to sneak up on me, huh?
And next with 365 points is Stu Plum.
8.
Next, yes, 8, yes. Next again is Ruth with 345. So that's 7 points for Ruth.
7.
And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then next, joints next, with 5 points each on the bingos are Mr. T and Smiler. So they get 6 points each on the scoreboard.
39 and 35. Wow, that does change things around a little bit because Stu Plum and myself have gone up to second place, and poor Ruth, the lovely Ruth, has gone down
Only
to
1
third.
point in it there.
I feel bad now. Here we go. So I'm just going to paint the painting. Oh no, I've got to make sure I get the orange first. Make sure I get the right orange. There we go.
Just take your way a while to find a nice bronze.
There we go. All right. So yes, slight change around in the top 3, but it looks like Tavykins now is 10 points out in front. It looks like an unassailable lead. I think she's got this championship locked down.
Second place is all to play for, though.
You know, maybe
we ought to have a crazy bingo night that might create an upset.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe you don't make a week. Maybe you're away next week or something, and that would put it all on its head.
Are you
after
a murder episode? I'm not so sure I feel comfortable with you saying me just not showing up next week. What do you think is going to happen to me next week, Monty?
Are you going to take her out of the equation?
Yeah, I'm going to buy her a vacay. Right. Okay, are you ready with your paddles? We won't be able to do the overall score because we'll have to wait for Sean to come back next week and give us his opinion. But yeah, we can still give it a go. Are you ready with your pads?
I am. Hold on.
Between 2 different scores.
I'm
Me
torn.
too.
I'm actually torn. I'm going for the score that I think. Yeah, yeah. I'm going for a score. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, look!
Okay, I'm ready.
I got a new mat for my cup. It's a Plymouth Argyle mat.
Oh, nice.
It's nice, isn't it? Ooh, I just straight on the floor.
You know me.
You know me. Ooh. Right, ready? 20, 19, 8,
Oh, God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boing. Oh, look at that! 5, 5, 4. Wow, who
I
knew?
was between 5 and 6 because,
I
like,
was.
there's
Yes.
just so many plot errors and stuff.
Yeah.
I just still quite enjoyed it. So I was like, do I give it a 6? But then I just thought, seems a bit generous. So I brought myself down to a 5. And in Chatland, we have a 5, a 7, and a 4, which averages out to 5.33. So that's 5 from the audience as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I was like you. I was going for between a 5 and a 6. The plot errors, the kind of unbelievable nature of it did take away. But then I thought, actually, Beverly was really good in this episode. It's shown some different sides to her character. And it was good to have a Beverly-focused episode, and I can see what they were trying to do. So there were things I did like about the episode. It wasn't a complete disaster.
I did love Quincy.
And we used to love Quincy, didn't we? So, it was like, I was torn. But in the end, I just felt...
Even the way in Quincy, he always has his, like, little pal guy helping him.
He does,
who I think was an Asian dude, wasn't he? And she's got like Alyssa Agawa helping her all through this. It's like her little sidekick, little Quincy sidekick. But yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, But at the end of the day, I think 5 being like in the middle of 1 in 10, it's an average episode. I think especially next to a lot of the other episodes in this season, it did show itself off to be quite weak, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to go very low because of the same reasons. The plot was just so bad. The holes were just devastating. Enough to pull me out of the story, because usually you can suspend disbelief and just remain in the illusion. But this one gave me way too many. Hold on a second. What? How? It made you come out of it too many times. And then at the end, it's like, so you got no write-ups, no nothing. You're just the main character, so of course you don't have to follow the rules. You just cut up a body that you weren't supposed to cut up.
Yeah, if it had been like it ended with, the inquiry, found that,
you know what it was?
Or blah blah blah.
I just remembered. You know what it is?
What?
She probably offered the Ferengi's family a sizable amount to negotiate that not being an issue, and it's never reported.
Maybe, you never know.
She probably
the rights to a working metaphasic shield.
Yeah,
because she kind of pointed out to the family that all her endeavors has pointed out that his scientific discovery is actually valid and real, and can now
profitable.
Be highly profitable for those that want to take part in star mining or something like that, whatever it is. Yeah, patenting it. So they probably in the exchange of handing over his research, dropped the whole subject. But it's the fact as well that we went through this whole thing, and that gets cleared up in a medical log just briefly at the end.
Yeah.
It's just like, everything's gone back to normal. I've been reinstated, and I'm going to see Guinan in 10 forward. It's like, really? Picard was just like, okay, that's all fine then. You disobeyed orders twice, and stole a shuttle, cut up a body.
You shot somebody.
Twice. Yeah.
Stuplum thinks that the scores have been doctored. Ha 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 ha. And Wookiee says he thinks that we need to get an audience-controlled electrode system so they feel more included, like a collar or something, maybe no more than 12 volts. I take it that means on you, Montyban. We'll fit it to Montyban, right?
A what? What are you fitting to me? I don't like the sound.
He wants to have an audience-controlled shot collar on you, so they can participate a bit more in the show.
We do have the old TENS machine, which can deliver an electric shock. That could be funny. We could do that. It'd be fun.
I will not be participating in that.
No.
I'm just gonna stick with bingo.
All of us.
Oh, on all of us? Oh, no.
No.
I'm afraid not.
No. TENS machines can be fun, but they can also not be fun.
Have you been drinking, Wookiee?
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you send us, something interesting to eat or drink, we might do that on the show. But electrodes, no.
Yeah.
Do you the price? Oh, I guess it'd be battery operated. I was gonna say the price of electricity these days.
Because this was like a science episode, I was going to tell you a chemistry joke, but I know I wouldn't get a reaction.
Oh, dearie dear. Boom.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How are you in action? Oh, hi, Mickey. How are you in action
Hi,
with dad?
Mickey.
With no dad joke
Oh,
game.
I know. I'm terrible.
You gotta practice your dad jokes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And now he's suggesting maybe with the wheel, we all get shocked when it lands on a Wookiee.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to cause us
Evening,
pain
Mickey.
like that, Wookiee?
Evening, Mickey. I don't know. He's always trying to cause us pain. Anyway, that was this episode. We don't know the scores at the moment. It is like bottom of all the shows this season, but of course we haven't got Sean's scores yet, so we'll have to wait for them to come in next week before we get the actual end score.
Oh man, I can
So
only imagine how he would just brutally massacre this episode.
Probably would, I would imagine. Yes. And I was probably going to ask what is next week's episode. Next week's episode is Rightful Heir.
Oh.
Yeah, Rightful Heir.
What was that one about again?
So
episode?
at the Klingon monastery
the one with
on
Kahless.
Boreth, Worf sees a very real vision of Kahless, the unforgettable. Oh, yes, Kahless. Yes. Seems to remember that's quite a big episode. It's one of those like Laurie-like episodes, isn't it? That has ramifications.
Yeah, I think they refer to it a bit in DS9 as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
on later adventures.
And the considerable position that character we're gonna see next holds in future episodes.
Mm.
If I believe is it that one? I don't know if I'm thinking about it correctly.
Well, we can discuss it. We'll discuss it in full when we get there next week. I don't want to preempt. I don't want to preempt anything. But yeah.
Next week.
Oh, I thought that even though we've given it 4s and 5s, I thought it was a fun discussion. This episode this week. I always find that sometimes the worst episodes are kind of the more fun discussions, and the really good episodes are just a bit dry.
The plot rundown.
Yeah.
It was worth it to get that plot rundown.
I know my questions aren't as entertaining as Sean's. Like, I didn't have any data, data's dong. I was in such a rush to do it. I didn't have time to insert jokes, but yeah, hopefully it went okay.
I have to admit, I can't say I missed the data dong references personally, but each to their own. I know it's a. Yeah.
I will not refuse those inputs, but I'll keep my.
Oh,
just before we go, there you go. Just before we go,
Data schnoz.
Data schnoz. There he is.
He's got a purty mouth.
He's birdie. Yeah, he's gone again. He's gone again. Right. Thank you to Mazimut Boz, Taviggins Turner, for joining me this week and consigning this episode to the vault. Thank you to Stu Plum, Ruth Bryce, Wookie, Mickey for popping along and saying hello, and my ever-suffering wrench, Smiler Rainbow. Thank you for coming along, and we hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will join you at 8 o'clock next week for another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Star Trek The Next Generation. See you then. Cheers. Get your words
Good night.